G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. We're actually talking about coffee again today. I don't know if you're sick of the motorbike stuff, but we're back on the coffee, and today we're going to talk all about the need for specific tools to make a good espresso. So if you're new to espresso, it's just after Christmas. I know a lot of people have got machines and they're all Googling, best espresso tool to improve my shots or whatever they're trying to find. And there's a million tools to turn up. You can spend a silly amount of money to get a better espresso. And look, a lot of them are great. A lot of them are necessary. A lot of them are, in my opinion, a bit of a waste of money. But we're going to talk about one tool in particular to tell you whether or not it's worth buying. And of course, the tool we're talking about is the WDT. There's a lot of discrepancies whether they're needed or not. A lot of people do use them. I use them at home. I don't use them at the cafe. A little bit too time consuming. But the reason I use it at home is because I believe in my environment with the setup I've got that it is necessary. So I'm going to go through a couple of reasons as to why I need it and a couple of reasons as to why you might not need it. So firstly, I think it's important to talk about what exactly that tool does. Now, a lot of people will use it just a part of their puck prep in some specific order because they've seen a video of somebody using one going, that looks cool, or assuming that it makes the espresso better, but not really knowing why. So we're going to talk about why it makes coffee better, and sometimes it might not. It may not be necessary. Does it look cool? Absolutely it does. It's cool on the bench. It looks nice. But you could be wasting time and money. So you can see here, I've got my Sanremo Cube, the Firenzato All Ground, a couple of basic accessories. I don't have an incredibly expensive setup. I really don't. It is a beautiful setup and makes great espresso. But everything I have here has a purpose. There is nothing here that is not needed. So this little guy is designed to remove the clumps of the coffee when it comes out of the grinder. Now, there's a lot of grinders out there that don't do that. Now, this is an incredible grinder. It does make a great coffee. It still leaves tiny little bits of ground sort of clumped together, and that's what we use that for. So I'm going to give you an example as to exactly what I'm talking about. So as you can see here, I've transferred the grounds from the dosing cup into the portafilter, and if you look closely, you can see this section right here. I've left it very raw just to give you a really good example as to what exactly we're going to do here. So I've been super lazy here and not tried to get anything level. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab a couple of little tools and show you how to make this ready for espresso. So first thing here is we're going to grab a little dosing ring, and this just prevents the grounds from falling out while we're distributing the coffee with the WDT, obviously raising the edges up there. And then what we're going to do is we use the WDT and we level the coffee out. Obviously this is one-handed, so it's not going to be amazing. But as you can see on the top there, we're flattening out and sort of fluffing up all the beans to get them nice and even. You do need to go deeper, because underneath there's a lot of uneven grounds. So go nice and deep all the way to the bottom without bending the prongs. And then you get the idea. And again, one-handed, this is quite tricky, but then you want to flatten everything out roughly, and then you're ready for the next tool, but we're not talking about that today. So as you can see, nice fluffy, even grounds ready to go. So now that we have a baseline as to what a good grinder does with the grounds as it comes out, there's not a lot of clumps left from the all ground grinder. The only other grinders I have here are hand grinders. Now this guy's not bad, but it's obviously not a $1,500 grinder. So we're going to make espresso coffee with this and see what it does. So using the Time More C3, which is actually a really good grinder. I only really use it for filter, although I have used it for espresso, and that's what we've ground it for today. So if you have a look at this, you can see that there's a lot of these big square chunks, a lot of very thick little bits that are clumped together. Now in this case, you definitely need to use a WDT to get rid of all those clumps, because what that's going to do, if we don't, I'll show you in a moment, is it's going to create a lot of channeling because there's thinner, there's a lot more aeration in certain spots compared to others, which is one of the biggest causes of channeling. So I'm going to pull a shot using this coffee without using the WDT, and you're going to see the results. So as you can see in that video, I may have also gone slightly too fine, but that wasn't the reason why it channeled so much. It was purely just the water just kept running wherever it wanted to go. Water is dumb, it's going to take the easiest path. Maybe it's smart, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. So the water's always going to take the easiest route to get through the espresso, which is going to be the uneven, more open spaces if you think of it that way. So it's super simple. Water can run through rocks easier than it can run through sand. Really, really simple. So using a WDT is a great thing to do if your grounds aren't nice and smooth and fluffy. Another reason why you may be getting a lot of that clumping together is not only your quality of grinder, you can also find that not using fresh beans will do it. Now, when a lot of people are using a single dose grinder, you'll find a lot of people are using little water spritz to prevent the coffee retention in the grinder, which does work. So you add a little bit of moisture, it reduces the static inside the grinder, so then you get all of the grounds out. Adding moisture will also typically add a lot of that coffee clumping because it sticks together, so it's not dry. It does that. So keep an eye out for that as well. That could be a time when you do need to use a WDT as well. So typically, yes, you want to use a WDT. It does make a coffee better. If you're trying to be fast, don't bother. It doesn't make enough difference, in my opinion, in a cafe situation. If your grinder is good enough and your process is good enough. So if you're using quality tools, quality tamps, puck press, whatever you want to use there, good distribution tools, you don't need to. You can, absolutely. There's never a situation where you shouldn't. I don't think that's ever going to be the right way to put it. You can, it adds time. Is it necessary? Not always. So get a decent quality grinder like the All Ground. You don't really need it. You've seen a million videos of these things pulling good shots. And unless the barista doesn't really know what they're doing, there is no need to have something better than this in a home situation, in my opinion. So if you are using a WDT, try your exact same recipe with and without the WDT and see if it actually makes a difference, because I'm not convinced that it's always necessary. If your grinder is very good quality, you probably don't need it so much. I use it because I kind of enjoy using it, and it does get rid of those tiny little clumps that are left by the All Ground. It's a $1,500 grinder. It's not $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 like some of the Webers and EKs and stuff like that. So you can't expect it to be amazing. However, it kind of is. So well done there. We're not talking about that. I'm not trying to sell stuff. So like I said, try your espresso recipe with absolutely everything done, minus the WDT, and document the results. See if it makes it better, worse, longer, faster, taste better. Taste is obviously the most important part. If it looks good on Instagram, cool, but if it tastes like crap, then we need to fix that. So try it. Let me know your results below. Let me know if this video has been helpful at all. And does it really matter what brand they are? No, not at all. Stop it. This one looks cool, so I bought it. There's the Porterkeeper ones are super cool. They actually have like a little wall mount thing with them. They're really, really nice. And they're actually a little bit longer, so you can use them for some of the other apparatuses out there, not just espresso. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Have yourselves a great day and happy brewing.